What do I mean when I say memory trap? There is a mentalist and psychic trick where the performer plants an idea in the subject's mind and then associates that idea with a stimulant or an image that performer knows the subject will see later on in their life. That item that he associates it with is designed to remind or force the subject to recall the item or the idea that was planted in the subject's mind. It usually is a trick that requires some preparation, that requires mostly performance, and is designed simply to show that the performer has a level of control over the subject's mind, is capable of controlling what thoughts will go in there. However, I have modified this technique into a memory technique, a memory trick that can be a little bit more practical for yourself and for those around you. Today on Mind Palace Memory Training, we're going to discuss how to do that. Setting memory traps is actually an extremely simple feat, and I can think of any number of practical applications of such a skill. For example, if you want to ensure that someone else who has no memory training remembers something, you can set a memory trap that will be guaranteed to remind them of what they needed to remember. If you need to remind yourself to do something before you leave work, you can simply lay a memory trap for yourself as a sort of reminder or sticky note just for yourself. It is so simple, in fact, that illusionists, mentalists, magicians, and psychics use these tricks all the time, so subtly that many spectators don't even realize how the effect was achieved. They call it suggestion. It works on a similar principle as that of the Mind Palace, that you can associate a memory with a piece of furniture or an item, but instead of being in the confines of the mind, it works in the real world on almost any given item you can think of. If you know there is an object you will encounter, you can take it and encode an image or memory onto it, so that when you see it next, you will recall the thing you wish to remember. This can be used in various ways in a performance. If you've ever seen the show The Mentalist, you might recall in Season 4 where Patrick Jane suggests to a young girl to stop smoking. This is exactly how that effect was achieved. Another practical application of this in memory is a story I have from work. A co-worker with notoriously poor memory asked me to remind her to put up the chairs before the end of shift. Well, I wasn't going to be there by the time her shift ended. I didn't plan on sticking around, so I planted the suggestion in this way. Taking her to the punch clock, I directed her attention to it. I explained that next time she looks at it before she leaves work, she would think about taking a seat to rest, but that when she sat down, the seat would break. I explained to her that imagining this scene should remind her to put chairs away. When the time came for her to clock out, the time clock did indeed, without fail, remind her the scene I suggested to her, and she remembered to put away the chairs. This is a simple way to use this effect, not only on yourself, but on someone who has never trained memory training before in their life. A similar trick can be applied to yourself. If you want to remember something without assigning it to your Mind Palace, this can be like a sticky note, planted literally anywhere or on anything in the real world. Not just on physical and tangible items either, but with some practice, it can be put on smells, sounds, and tastes. It can be as simple as creating a scene to associate a memory with an item or something you know you will encounter. That item now doubles as a constant reminder, like a peg, of what it is you want to be able to recall, in effect trapping a memory in any other mundane object.